What's up? What's up, guys? Hold on. What's up, guys? This is Ninja on the Ninja. Okay. I had to be formal, kind of. I didn't need to do that. I just did that because I wanted to. Anyway, let me make glasses real quick. But as you can see, this is a video about Dave Chapelle. And I like Dave Chapelle. But I felt I wanted to extend on his story a little bit. And basically, and this is what reporters should do. Not the I'm gonna expand on his story, that's me, right? But I'm going to report what Dave Chappelle tells you right now. And I'm not going to spin it beforehand. I just told you I'm going to add to it because that's what we're doing here. But I'm not going to use any grotesque language or any manipulative language or lead you down whatever. I'm just telling it like it is. Anyways, take it away.
Before he went, his mother said to him, if a white...
Hold on. Hold on.
I'm going to give you a history lesson. The picture is the early 50s in the United States. This 14-year-old boy goes down from Chicago to Mississippi to meet his extended family for the first time. And before he went, his mother said to him, if a white man looks you in your eyes in Mississippi, look away. And I don't know what you know about black people from Chicago, but they're not a scared people. And legend has it, he was in front of a convenience store hanging out with his cousins, having a good time, and a white woman walked out of the store, and he thought she was pretty, and he said, bye, baby, not realizing that he had just made a fatal mistake. 4 days later, a group of adult white men burst into this family's home and snatched a 14-year-old boy out of bed in front of his family that was powerless to stop them, and he was never seen alive again. His name was Emmett Till. They found his body maybe a few days later. It was in a creek tied to a wheel so it would sink, horribly beaten and bloated. Hideous. And lucky for everybody in America, his mother was a gangster. In the very midst of a mother's worst nightmare, this woman had the foresight to think about everybody. She said, leave my son's casket open. She said, the world needs to see what they did to my baby. And every publication here in the United States, from Jet Magazine all the way to the New York Times, had this boy's horribly bloated body on its cover. This was a very definitive moment in American history where every thinking and feeling person was like, ugh, we gotta do better than this. And they fought beautifully, and here we all are. And the reason that I bring that up tonight was because less than a year ago, the woman that he allegedly whistled at admitted on her deathbed that she lied in her court testimony. And you can imagine when we read that shit, we was like, ooh, you lying ass bitch. But that was my initial reaction. And initial reactions that we all learned as we get older are often wrong or more often incomplete. They call this phenomenon standing too close to an elephant. The analogy being that if you stand too close to an elephant, you can't see the elephant. All you see is its penis-like skin. Time goes on, and then after time, you can kind of see the whole elephant, and it's humbling because you realize that this woman lied, and that lie caused the murder. But that murder set in motion a sequence of events that made my wonderful life possible, that made this very night possible. How could this be that this lie could make the world a better place? It's maddening. And if that woman that said that heinous lie was alive today, I would thank her for lying. And then I would kick her in the pussy. I'm gonna give you a history lesson.
So, okay, that was the bit I'm going to respond to. I could do the whole thing, but I'm not going to right now. His whole routine, I mean. But because I'm more in depth than even Dave Chappelle. I take you on Dave Chappelle. I think I'm better than you are. But and the world doesn't like me, and so this whole racism thing, I think today it's actually worse because people are smart about it. Before it was on its face and it was bad, but it was on its face and you knew, right? But nowadays people are sneaky and they lie about it. Or they're your best friend, but the second you leave, they're talking shit, right? That's not good. That's the world today. But anyways, we'll tear it apart by a little bit, by a little bit. So, we'll go stage by stage.
Lesson. The picture is the early 50s in the United
Okay, the first mistake, no kidding.
States. This 14-year-old boy goes down from Chicago to Mississippi to meet his extended family for the first time. And before he went, his mother said to him, if a white man looks you in your eyes in Mississippi, look away.
Okay, now that right there, that's a good advice from his mother given the condition, the situation. But because of the situation, that's bad advice because she shouldn't have to give her son that advice. And that should just show you that America is terrible to allow that to exist. The fact that that mentality can exist in America, and the fact that this situation was allowed to prevail in America, and nobody stood up. No white man, no, everyone was afraid, and everyone was political, and everyone wanted politics, and blah blah blah. And everyone was a political whore, worried about their image and the selling out. They want to stick up to the right people or whatever. They're all worried about what everyone thinks about them and not what everyone says about them. Okay?
And I don't know what you know about black people from Chicago, but they're not a scared people.
Now that statement, they're not scared people. All that means to me is it has nothing to do with fear. It's the fact that he didn't know that America, because like this is the problem. Like this is like where like bad storytellers like Dave Chappelle exist because he adds context where there is none, and this is why it's important to get the story true because you can't have context where there is none because you're making something bigger than it actually is. Okay, now that's they say there is a thin line between bravery and stupidity, and there's a reason for it because you don't know, is it brave of him to do that? No, it's probably because he was stupid, and that's what I wanted to point to. A lot of that place that he had mentioned is stupid, right? You can't mix that up with bravery, and yes, you can be brave, right? You can, like, I'm gonna do it to piss you off, but don't be stupid about it. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. So, anyways,
And legend has it, he was in front of a convenience store hanging out with his cousins, having a good time, and a white woman walked out of the store, and he thought she was pretty, and he said, bye, baby, not realizing that he had just made a fatal mistake.
boom. Again, not realizing he has made a fatal mistake. Now, if anything, that's a failure on his parents by not bestowing it to allow the 14-year-old boy to exist in a world that would act so harshly towards him. But again, this just shows that America was terrible because it allowed for that kind of mindset to exist, to fester. Like racism should be gone today, but we allow it, right? Like in England, for some reason, they allow the power structure and royalty to exist in England, right? Like you should not allow that shit to exist because it will. Yes, it benefits you now, but the point is, look what it did. Look what it did. You understand? You allowing that to come back for now, for now. So because you're selfish and because you're greedy, and you want power now, you're going to allow it to exist now so that you can exploit it and take advantage of people who fall for it, blah, 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 because that's what it is, right? At the end of the day, that's what it is. Okay? It's a game, and you're allowing this game to exist because you're the coach, or you're the manager, or the CEO, or whatever. But the point is, eventually that's going to run rampant, and then we're going to have a King Joffrey on our hands. You know what I'm saying? We can't have that. So why is it a thing? It's going to happen eventually, but it's going to happen. Just like in America, that's why racism is like right there. It's why I grew up with racism. Why I grew up with bias. Why my mom's life got fucked up. Why my dad's life got fucked up. Why my dad was so afraid. And another dad, why he was so afraid. I had a dad. Like, I'm so ballsy because my father was ballsy. My dad was just like that kid. I was like, bye, baby. I'm like, bye, baby. He was that kind of guy, right? And his problem was he was deported back to Mexico, basically for it, because he was that kind of guy. So he was basically removed from the equation. And that's what America was once upon a time, right? They tore apart immigrant families to make them fail and to make them suffer, to make sure they couldn't rise because they were afraid. But here I am, motherfucker. Fortunately, enough of him carried over, and it still comes out sometimes. Like I watch the videos where I'm talking, and I get motivated, and that spirit comes out of me. That emotion comes out of me, and it's not for red or for blue. It's for America. You know what I'm saying? Anyways,
4 days later, a group of adult white men burst into this family's home and snatched a 14-year-old boy out of bed in front of his family that was powerless to stop them, and he was never seen alive again.
and again, that says a lot about America for them to allow that kind of thing to exist. Okay, for America to allow that kind of mentality to prevail in America, that's disgusting. That's racism. That's what's going on with Lindsey Graham. Just I have a document. It's called Downfall of America. Where is it? Oh. Oh shit. Crap. It's gone. It's gone. Dude, I've been adding to it for a long fucking time. No. Anyways, I'm not gonna look for it right now. I'm looking for it off camera, but for some reason my document is gone. Down from my list, my Jeffrey Epstein list, it's gone. I had a bunch of names that I've just been recording over the years, like Jeffrey Epstein, Lindsey Graham, Jeff Sessions, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan. Like I still remember some of them. Paul Manafort should be on there, but there's a bunch of names, basically, and they live. Um, what's it called? It's kind of like basically there's a culture of I forgot what they called themselves, but basically it's anonymous. You remember Anonymous? Basically that organization. Well, the problem is the KKK allows Grand Wizards, Grand Dukes to exist behind closed doors, and it's kind of like a cult, and those people can exist, and then they can go and hug so and so, blah blah blah, because no one's asking questions. And this is the problem with religion and God and whatnot, is no one's asking questions, and you can't have that little room exist behind closed doors, right? That's the problem. When you don't ask what happens behind that closed door, it's you're asking for trouble. It's because you don't know, and they take advantage of it, and they do. But anyways,
His name was Emmett Till. They found his body maybe a few days later. It was in a creek tied to a wheel so it would sink, horribly beaten and bloated. Hideous. And lucky for everybody in America, his mother was a gangster. In the very midst of a mother's worst nightmare, this woman had the foresight to think about everybody. She said, leave.
not really. Basically, she wasn't selfish. Now, once upon a time, that was a standard. Today, everyone is selfish. And so, back then, to be selfless is quite common. Especially if you're older and you have more wisdom and you're knowledgeable and you know. And the thing about Dave Chappelle you should know is his family comes from a lineage of smart people, smart individuals, and they're smart, right? Like bookworms, kind of smart. But they knew, like, this stuff needs to be seen. So, anyways, I just want to point out that the fact that people are selfish, it's a new phenomenon today that wasn't, it didn't plague the people once upon a time.
My son's casket open. She said the world needs to see what they did to my baby. And every publication here in the United States, from Jet Magazine all the way to the New York Times.
That right there, that's why America was great. Because back then, news reporting agencies actually reported. Nowadays, we have a shit with like, trying to remember their names. Adam Mockler. Um, I don't remember their names. Fuck. This is why I wrote the list because I don't remember their names. Adam Mockler. Those names that I have, I could find them. I gotta make it again, but these people exist basically, and they make it more about them or how I feel or what I think and blah blah blah. And that's why it's terrible, why they're bad. But back then, there was none of that, and they reported on everything. And nowadays, it's all about me, 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 me. And the thing is, on top of that, the rich control what stories get told. Like that Emmett Smith would have never happened to today, right? So as great as that story is, if it happened today, no one would know about it because of what's going on today. That's why Bernie Sanders in America, you never hear from him unless they have bad things to say about him or unless they're tearing apart his character. You won't hear from him. You won't hear about him. It'll be like he doesn't exist, basically. The only time that got something on my mouth, like something. That's it. That's the only time you'll ever hear about it is if it's bad. Basically, once upon a time they didn't even have that because they tried to tear him up and tried to say shit and talk bad or to tear him apart, blah blah blah. But they failed at everything. They tried to say he was something like he was like a deviant or something, or is a sexual deviant, and it backfired. And it made him more popular because everyone's like, "What the fuck, Fox News? How dare you try to say that about Bernie Sanders? We know Bernie Sanders, and he would never." And so that went, what's it called? They stopped talking about it. Hence the Bernie blackout that everyone denies because they all got sold out or bought out or whatever, or the kid got held caught up, or we'll kill your kid, we'll kill your family, whatever. Now they're sold out, right? And so America's going to hell for it. Right? And that's what's going on. That's the Jeffrey Epstein list was. And that's why, what's his name? Destiny. He's also on the list. Why he is so adamant about what he says, despite the fact that he's wrong about a lot of the shit he says. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like a lot of the shit he talks about, he's wrong about. But anyways, continue real quick. We gotta finish this up.
Had this boy's horribly bloated body on his cover. This was a very
Again, you would never hear about it.
definitive moment.
Oh, I think that's what I was saying about Destiny. He denies the Bernie blackout, and he talks like he knows. But the thing is, he doesn't know, and he has credibility. But like at Disney, I think it's basically is we have a bunch of people who are chickens dressed as eagles, and they're acting like, oh, I'm credible, and then they're going in and they're making stories and making movies that suck. And the image of it, like Disney, for example, and they're making all of these movies, these half-assed movies from Disney that suck, and then they do really well in box offices, but they spent like $10 making them, and people are like, "What the fuck did I just see right now?" And now Disney's a dead name, and it used to be really fucking good, but they sold out. That's what happened. It's sold out, right? If you've never watched it, it's called Grandma got ran over by a reindeer, and it talks about how the system tries to buy you out because it's a lot of money to you, but it ain't shit to them. And then the second you sell out, then that truth that you had is gone, basically, and that's what it is. That's the world today. So
In American history, where every thinking and feeling person was like, ugh, we got to do better than this. And they fought beautifully, and here we all are.
and again, that would never happen today.
And the reason that I bring that up tonight was because less than a year ago, the woman that he allegedly whistled at admitted on her deathbed that she lied in her court testimony.
And chances are she's put up to it.
And you can imagine when we read that shit,
She told her friends, or her friends heard about it. They got pissed off and uppity and pissed off. They ran around and destroyed it. They made it just not good. Then when it went to the court system, they put her up to lying to so they can get away with it, and that's what happened. So, my guess.
we was like, ooh, you lying ass.
Again, that you guys talk about Trump like he is the playmaker and he is the quarterback. And I'm looking at him as an old man, and he just drinks the juice you put in front of him. He's not crushing oranges. He's not Joffrey's dad or grandpa or whatever, right? He isn't Tyrion Lannister. You know what I'm saying? He Trump is Hodor, right? That's what's going on.
But that was my initial reaction. And initial reactions that we all learned as we get older are often wrong or more often incomplete.
So that's only true when someone like when someone is trying to spin a story or lie to you or blah. Because a lot of the time, like me myself, I trust my gut because in those instances where he is wrong, I am actually right. And you can trust your gut if you ain't a piece of shit, if you ain't a bad person. If you're a shitty person like Dave Chappelle was growing up, I'm sure, insecure, petty, fucking, he wishes he was something else, blah, blah, blah. Sure, that's true. And a lot of people, I'm sure that's true, right? But if you grow up confident and an alpha and you know and you have no reason to fight anybody or you have no reason to take anything from anyone like myself, like I had it made. What the fuck do I need, right? But the problem was that everyone else was petty and they watched all these movies that the American government was putting out or the system was putting out, or it's like, oh look at this cool ass gangster movie, and then oh look on sale on gangster clothing, and it's like, don't you see what the fuck they're doing? They're trying to break up families and ruin families, and especially in the Mexican areas. That's what gerrymandering was, and I survived through all of that shit. I should have like my brother is a perfect example, right? He shouldn't have survived through that shit. He got jumped in front of a sports place once the fuck a gym, right? A kid was leaving a gym and he got jumped basically because of that shit. And it came to me, I was like, nope, I want to play cards. Fuck you. You know, like, what the fuck?
They call this phenomenon standing too close to an elephant. The analogy
True?
being that if you stand too close to an elephant, you can't see the elephant. All you see is its penis like skin.
Yeah, some people, yeah, that is true, right? But some people will, like, if you play a game, for example, a video game, there are people, like, I can teach you to be really good at the game, but you have to be willing to put in the time. And that right there, that alone, that there's no get rich quick scheme. There's no build, there's no play, build this, do this. None of that works. It's bullshit lies, and they're just making money because you're stupid, and they're dishonest, and they're lying to you, and they're tricking you. And any get rich quick scheme and any system where they act like they're the best or their number, it's all bullshit. It's not real. It's not real. Okay, I can confirm that's not real. I have my own way. I have my own way of thinking. It's because I'm just better than most people. That's my secret. It's just I'm better than you. Like in Smash Brothers or PSAS, I would win. You know why? Not because of A or because I knew about B. It's because I was just better and faster. That was it. That's why I won because I was better and faster. My friend always would call Fuddy Duddy Fingers, and how he would say, "Oh, if my thoughts were as, if I could put what I was thinking into the controller, then I would beat you." And I'm like, don't you think the same would be true for me? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like that disconnect or whatever, that connection that we have, and from our minds to our hands, that's part of the game. That's part of it. It's called the controller. That's part of it. Like you have to play the game. And now we're playing the game, and you're too slow. Like that's all it is. Sonic the Hedgehog has taunt you're too slow. I know that because you'd always hear it because one of my friends would buy every get rich quick scheme there was, and he would still lose. So that's what it is. Right? That's what it is. Oh no, it's just because of the reason. The reason why I failed is because of reasons. But trust me, buy my fucking, buy this bridge or buy this poison or buy this cocktail. It's bullshit. You guys believe it? I don't know.
Time goes on, and then after time, you can kind of see the whole elephant, and it's humbling because you realize.
Yeah, it's not time goes on for you. Time goes on. But for some people, you have awareness. You look around like, oh, okay, and then you act. But you're a dumbass and you jump anyways. Like that's why what's his name got shot. That's why I'm still alive, right? There is shit in the world that exists in the world, and they can just sweep it under a rug because there is that corruption too. Like you have to understand, most of those opiate charges, and they say, "Oh, it's just a drug." No, no, it's a lot of it is bullshit. Because they would have said the same thing about me. Like they tried to say about, "Oh, it's just a drug overdose." No, it wasn't. They gave her fake fucking bullshit ass medications, and her life fell apart because the medications didn't work. I know because they did the same thing to me. But I found alternatives, which they tried to make illegal. Why are you trying to make it illegal? Oh, it's because it helped me and I was able to live. Yes, some people can't take advantage of it. Some people can take advantage of it for fucking medication. Does not stop you, right? It's okay for you to go and up my fucking my intake and make me an addict, and then fucking pull the chair from under me, and it's okay. It's illegal. It's illegal. It's no, it's not. Like, that was a hit job. Fuck you guys. Anyways.
That this woman lied, and that lie caused the murder. But that murder set in motion a sequence of events that made my wonderful life possible, that made this very night possible. How could this be that this lie could make the world a better place? It's maddening. And if
So, it's not the lie that's making the world a better place. It's the fact that the truth got out. And again, that's what's going on, and that's why I hate Fox News. That's why I hate like Brian Tucker Collins. Okay, but I hate again. I wish I could pull my paper, my document. I don't know where it's at. Adamocular. There's hella names that I can't think of. I don't know where the fuck my document is. It was called The End of America. Yeah. It was called The End of America. There were names on that apparently someone had to hack my computer and destroy it because it was so good. Yeah, I don't know. That's fine. That's fine. I had a document called The End of America. It had a bunch of names. I was pointing out how a bunch of these sellouts were a bunch of fakers and liars, and it's just people I could still point them out to you. Let me see. Oh motherfucker, man! I gotta turn my internet on because the fucking person which I use the internet. Oh, it is on. I just gotta connect. Oh, Jesus Christ, that was close. Good thing I didn't fucking fall over. It would have been terrible. But yeah, 1 second. TYT. Most people are that work at TYT, they're just sellouts. It's not that they're wrong or whatever. It's just they're sellouts. Pondering politics. It's all bullshit there. Let's see. The Luke Beasley. He's also a sellout faker. LBC is something to worry about because it's a franchise apparently, and there's multiple people there. So the problem is you gotta be careful. Adam Mockler, Jeff Sessions, Liz Graham, Ron Paul. Hell the names. Hell the names. David Pac-Man. The hell's his name? Kyle Kalinske. You know, stuff like that. Like all these names are just sellouts. They've been bought out. Like all the biggest internet names that you know, they're all fucking sellout, faker, bullshit, fucking cunts, destroy America, and that's why my file is gone because they knew the truth. So, and I was onto something. But there you go. Anyways, be happy, be safe. Probably get killed. We'll see. If I want to live, by the way, I've been through a lot and I don't have no reason to end myself. I'm a survivor. You know what I'm saying? I want to live, bitch. Anyways, peace.